Welcome to Health Club with Julia. I'm your host, health coach, and registered dietitian, Julia Campagna. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between looking your best and living your life to the fullest. After years of over dieting, struggling with disordered eating, and destroying my social life, I finally found how to reach my dream physique without sacrificing the things I love. Now I'm sharing all my strategies and education with you. We'll be talking all things health, including hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle to help you cut out the confusion and start living. So get cozy and join the club. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. As always, I am so happy you are here. This episode is probably going to be one of my all-time favorite episodes that I've ever created ever on this podcast, and it's been, I don't even know, I don't remember when I started this, but we are on episode, 106. So out of the 100 plus episodes that I've done, this is probably going to be my favorite, and I'm sure you already know why, because of the title of this podcast episode, but I've been saying the last couple of episodes, I have a lot planned for this year and like a lot of great things coming up and podcast stuff I want to talk about and different things coming. This is what I was saying. So here we are. I cannot wait to catch up with you guys on everything that's been going on. There's just so much. There's so much to catch up on. So we'll start, because I'm diving right in, because I feel like this could be a lengthy one, but I'm going to start with probably the lesser of the news, like the not as exciting, still exciting, but not as exciting of the news. I'm 30 years old. I turned 30 this past weekend, and it was really nice getting to just kind of celebrate with my family. I kept it really low-key. I didn't have any, like, big 30th birthday anything planned. I didn't plan anything. And it was really just my family. Went out to dinner with my husband on Friday, went out to dinner with my family on Saturday, had some brunch with my parents on Sunday, went to church, and it was also Super Bowl Sunday, so me and my husband just kind of stayed in, made ourselves some food, got comfy, and watched the game. So it was very, very low-key. Obviously being pregnant, now that I can say that, now obviously being pregnant, I couldn't go like too hard. Like I wasn't, and I don't even know if I wasn't pregnant, I don't know if I would even actually do anything anyway. Like I don't know if I would have this big shebang 30th birthday somewhere and like, make it an actual party, because I'm just not that kind of person. So being pregnant was honestly like the best excuse to make it so low-key, but I honestly loved it. I probably would not have changed anything about it, because I'm just a low-key person and I like to just be with my family and my close friends, and that's really all that I care about. So it was a great weekend. I am very thankful for everything that has come into my life thus far, and yeah, so very, very excited for that. I'm also, people have asked, and I feel like you get this question when you turn 30. People have asked like, oh, do you feel older? Do you feel like you're 30? Are you excited? You're getting old. And like all these kinds of things kind of swirl around 30 years old. And I'm actually really excited for my 30s for a few different reasons. One, I've always just heard that the 30s is like the greatest years of your life, and I'm kind of understanding now why that is, and I feel like I'm so excited about it because, one, I'm just like entering all these new chapters of my life. Like we're looking to buy a house, I'm now pregnant, I'm married, like all of these things have started to flourish, and I'm just like taking on these new chapters of my life, which is also really exciting. So it helps being 30 and like having all of these things happen. It's just a really exciting time for a lot of different reasons. I also feel like turning 30 is exciting because at this point in my life, I am way more secure in myself. Like I thought that I was secure in my younger 20s, mid-20s, and I was, like, I've definitely changed over the years as I've gone through my 20s. I've made a lot of differences within myself, but being 30 now, I just feel so much more secure in myself than I did when I turned 21. Like, huge differences, and if you're in this age group, you kind of know that already as well. Like, it's not just, oh, I turned 30 and I'm more secure in myself. It's been building up probably over the last like 2 to 3 years. I felt this way, but as I'm getting into my 30s now, I feel so much more secure in myself. I think everybody still has insecurities, and like, I won't say that I'm perfect, but truly, and I'm trying to be humble about this, but like, I don't have many insecurities. There definitely are times where things come up, but I'm way more secure in myself. I'm way more confident in myself. I just feel like I am more established now between work and marriage and where I'm at in terms of like finances between me and my husband, and I feel more established and more clear on where I'm at right now and the path ahead. Yes, there's still a lot of uncertainties, but when you're turning 20, 21, even like 24, 25, you're still figuring a lot of things out, and I think that we're always figuring things out. I'm still figuring things out as well, but I just feel so much more established and secure. So it's a really good feeling having this birthday and being like, I'm not afraid of my 30s because I feel so good in myself. I don't feel 30 at all either. Like, I still feel like I'm 26 probably. I don't feel like I'm 21 anymore. That I can definitely say, but maybe 26, 27. Like, I definitely feel younger than I am, and yeah, I feel really good going into my 30s, and I want to touch on some things that I've learned. I wanted to go over like 30 things I've learned for turning 30, but then I also wanted to combine the pregnancy one with this one, and I have a lot of questions to go over. So we're going to make it short and sweet. Just a couple things that I've learned over the years and now being 30. One, going back to that confidence piece, confidence is not in a physique. And I want to reiterate this over and over and over and over and over again. This should be like a slogan, a motto somewhere, I don't know. But confidence is not in a physique. And I feel like a lot of women in their young to mid-20s, even some women going into their 30s still feel this way, but a lot of times women put so much emphasis on their physique and their worth being tied to the physique, and how confident they are on the outside tied to their physique, and everything comes back to the physique and how good you look, and that determines your mood, your confidence, everything else. And I've learned that that is not true at all. Coming from someone who had an eating disorder and was super, super, super small, super thin, had very little body fat percentage, that was when I was probably the least confident in myself, actually, is when I was at my smallest. Then, I gained a lot of weight back. I went through bulks and different phases to kind of get my health in a better place, and I had gained a lot of weight. And I'm pregnant now, and at one point I was way heavier than I am, even now being pregnant. And I did that kind of on purpose. Again, I went through bulks to get my health in a better place. And so, I gained all this weight back, and I was way more confident then than I was at my smallest. And even though I wasn't at that really secure place yet at that point, I still felt so much more confident gaining all of that weight than I was when I was small. And then, after a few phases and time went on and I balanced myself out, my physique has been the best that it's ever been over the last, I would say, 3 years. I've really maintained a really solid physique. But again, I'm reiterating, the confidence piece didn't come from these changes in my physique. Yes, my confidence improved when I actually gained weight. Yes, that is true. But my confidence improved more so when I learned about my body, when I understood my body more, when I let go of the societal standards of you have to be super thin or look a certain way. When I changed my mindset around that, I felt so much more confident. When I got knowledgeable and I went through my master's degree and I found something I was truly passionate about, which was dietetics and helping to educate people and be a coach for people and starting my business. Those life transformations of going through grad school, getting my master's, building my own business from scratch, like those big things, that's what helped my confidence, me as a human being. And the things that I've accomplished as being me is what made me really confident in myself. It wasn't the physical aspect of my body, it was everything else. how I carried myself, the things I've learned, the things that I have done and proven to myself that I can do, those things have made me super, super confident. So that is just because I know, again, a lot of women tie their worth and their confidence to what their body looks like, and I'm here to say that is not how you're going to gain confidence. Yes, it may help, but it is not the bread and butter. It is not the basis of your confidence. Confidence comes from within you and learning different things and finding your true self, and that will make you so much more confident. Second thing I learned is the better you take care of yourself in your 20s, the better you will feel going into your 30s. And that is ongoing. The better you take care of yourself in the 30s, the better you'll feel when you go into your 40s, and so on and so forth. That is true for every year. But again, this is kind of stemming from my eating disorder when I think it was 19, I was like 19 or 20 when I had it. So I was like early 20s, if not right before 20s, going into my 20s. And my body was trash. I did not feel good at all. And I was younger. And I feel so much better now than I did when I was 20, 21. And yes, I'm taking a lot better care of myself. Yes, I was in college at that time, drinking more, all those kinds of things. But there's a lot of changes that I did, not including alcohol, that I feel so much better for now than I did when I was 10 years younger. So it is true that the better you take care of yourself, the better you're going to feel, and so you really have to put a huge priority on how you take care of yourself and what that actually looks like. And there's a lot that goes into that, so I won't dive into that too far, but I will say that there is a lot of work to be done for a lot of people, and I was one of those people, and I did take the time to work on myself and improve all areas of my health, and it really did improve so much for me. And the last piece that I want to talk about with what I've learned since turning 30 and all throughout my years of life is to protect your peace. This one is really big for me, and I feel like I kind of have always felt this way to an extent. Like even in high school, I felt this way, but I understand it now. Like, you need to protect your peace. Surround yourself with your closest people, even if it's a really small group. I will say right off the bat, not including the people that, well, I guess including everybody. Right now, my group of people that are closest to me is so small. I have, and I can count on two hands, the amount of friends that I have. I literally have like 3 friends still from home, high school era. I have a few more friends now that I have met through college and beyond, but it's still less than 10. Like, my friend group is so small. My girlfriend group is so small, and I love that. And I don't feel like how do I put this? I feel like I choose me. And that's a big thing, because I feel like, and again, I said this already, but I felt this way kind of in high school as well. Like, I never really tried to impress somebody or anything like that, I guess. Now that I'm saying it out loud, probably because all high schoolers do and stuff like that, but I did have some urge to be liked by everybody. Like, I just wanted to be liked by everyone. I wanted to have my friends. I wasn't too concerned with like my close friends, but I was to a degree. I was like, oh, this person I want to be friends with, oh, that person I want to be friends with, and I did try a little bit. And so, like, it's different when you're growing up and you're still trying to find yourself, but again, I feel like once you are more secure in yourself and you find confidence within yourself, this becomes so much easier. But like, protect your peace. Say no to things that you don't want to do. Say yes to things that you do want to do. Surround yourself with your closest people, but keep it small. It doesn't have to be this big group of people. And just prioritize yourself. I think that there's a lot of stigma around giving and always being there for other people, and that is also really important. It is a good attribute to have, to give and to be there for people, but you also have to be there for yourself. And that is something that I've learned too, and it's something that I'm honestly still learning. I am a huge people pleaser to my core, and it really is to a fault at times, and I've had people agree with me, like, yeah, it is to a fault, like, you are such a people pleaser, and I still am. I think I've grown out of that a bit. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm learning, these things as I'm getting into my 30s, is to protect your peace and focus on you. I am starting to stray away from being such a people pleaser, but it's still something I'm working on as well. But with that, I really have come to find, like, if I really don't want to do something, guess what? I'm not going to do it. And sometimes I feel bad for that. Sometimes I'm like, this is protecting me and what I need at this point. So protect your peace. Always focus on you just as much as you're focusing on other people. It's just as important. So anyway, those are the 3 things that I wanted to mention that I've kind of learned. Again, I could go on and on about that, but we're going to cut it here because we're going to go on to the bigger of the news, is that I'm pregnant, and I cannot wait, or not can't wait, it's here now, I'm already saying it. I'm already still in the mindset of like, oh, I can't wait to say it. No, I'm saying it. I'm so excited that I am able to say this now and just talk about it. There's so much that I could already talk about with this topic, and it's really hard to choose where to start with this because it's been, months at this point of just like things that have come up and happened along the way that I haven't been able to share. So it's a lot of backlogging I gotta do to get to where I am and catch you guys up. But it's really, really exciting. I first want to say thank you to everybody that has reached out. I posted about this yesterday. And I got a lot of support and love on that. So again, thank you for everybody that has said something, reached out. We appreciate it so much. We are so excited. We are both over the moon and just like each day, each week, kind of in awe of the changes and all the things that we're learning along the way. It's really fun. It's been a really fun experience so far and just a beautiful thing, and I know how blessed I am to be in this position. I do want to say that right off the bat as well. I know that I am so blessed, and I will never take that for granted, and I am so thankful for that. So, where to start? So I'll just go over a little bit about like currently like where I'm at, and then I do have a bunch of questions that I want to go over, so I don't want to make this too dragged out and long, but basically I'm just about at the start of my 2nd trimester. I am due in August, which is exciting. Lots of birthdays in August, including my husband's, so very exciting about that. I will go over like my whole experience thus far, but some of this stuff is asked in the questions, so I'll keep some of that to the questions, but something that wasn't really asked was my 1st trimester experience, and again, as I've already mentioned, I am so blessed, so thankful, and so grateful to be in this position, and it has been such a fun journey so far. I will say I did have some aversions. I did have quite heavy nausea for a while, but again, even with that, I'm so lucky that it wasn't, like, I know people that have had it so much worse than me. My nausea really was from like weeks 6 to about like 8.5, 9-ish, and the first couple of weeks, like 6, 7, beginning half of 8, I was vomiting, I was really sick, and some days could hardly get up off the couch or out of bed. But as the weeks went on, it started to get better and better, and then by week 9, it pretty much subsided almost completely for me. It did start to come back by like 10.5 weeks, and lasted another maybe like 5 days or so, but now, again, even that second wave has kind of passed, knock on wood. So I'm very thankful that it wasn't as bad as I've heard it could be, but yeah, so overall, so far, it's been such a great experience. It's been beautiful, amazing. I literally get so excited every single appointment that I have. Like, I'm over the moon, and it's just really, really been truly a really great experience for me so far, and I'm feeling really good now. So, I want to just dive into some of these questions because, again, I want to make sure that I am able to get to all of these questions and not have this be like an 1.5-hour episode. So we're going to dive into some of these questions here. Just making sure I don't have any new questions that just popped up while I was speaking. No. Okay. So we'll start with, where do I want to start? Okay, so we'll start with one question was kind of asked twice. 2 people asked basically the same question. So first person asked anything pregnancy prep, like prenatals, other supplements, lifestyle, and then another person asked best supplements or things to do to prep for a healthy, safe body for pregnancy. So I'm going to combine those because they're basically the same question. And I'm going to say right off the bat with this, I won't go too heavily involved with this question because I did just recently post a podcast episode specifically on pregnancy priming and what to do before you get pregnant. So that is episode 101. I will link that below in the notes if you did ask this question and you do want to learn more about prepping your body for pregnancy, what to do, supplements, all of that. I will link that episode. Again, it's episode 101. But to just kind of hit on this just a little bit, first thing I want to say, because both of these people asked specifically supplements, they asked supplements, best supplements, or what are some supplements in prenatals. First of all, I want to say no supplement is ever going to replace a balanced diet and a healthy body naturally. You should not be relying on supplements to help you get pregnant. There are some benefits to supplements, yes, absolutely. And I did take some supplements, which I will tell you. But that should not be the main focus for you at all. It should be more of the lifestyle, the diet, the exercise, the blood sugar balance, the stress management. It should be all of those things that you should be worrying about first and foremost before any supplements are talked about. However, prenatals are important, so I will say prenatals I do think everybody should take. There are quite a few prenatals out there, so there's tons to choose from. I would say top 3 prenatals for me is number 1, Weenatal. This is what I personally use. I love it because also they have a men's blend, so I did have my husband take those prenatals. He's actually still taking them right now, but I did have him take them before we were trying to conceive. So that one I absolutely love, and we really want to focus on having it third-party tested. We want to focus on folate instead of folic acid in there. We want to be careful of calcium. There's just certain things that we want to think about in terms of prenatal. So Weenatal hits all of those targets for me. So I love Weenatal. The brand Needed is a really good prenatal, and also Parallel I like as well. So those are top 3, I would say, for prenatals. But yes, I do think prenatals are very important to take. I would start taking them like 3 to 6 months before you want to start trying. Honestly, I feel like 6 months is a good place to be. But that is prenatals. Other supplements, again, this is really going to be based on the individual. I did have labs done before trying, so I kind of knew where I was at. Vitamin D for me was a little bit low, which is very, very, very common in most people. This is one of those vitamins that usually can run a little bit low, especially in winter months. We were getting to like fall-ish time at the time, and again, it's just one of those things that's a little bit lower. So I was and still am taking a vitamin D supplement, and then fish oil is also what I'm taking right now because again, that is something that's super common to be a little bit low in and lacking just based on our Western diet in today's society. We do not get enough omega-3s in our diet. Actually, it's really, really crazy to think about, but there's omega-3s, omega-6s. Those are like your main fatty acids. And omega-6s are pro-inflammatory, and omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. And diets back in the day were more of like a 1-to-1 ratio, omega-3s, omega-6s, maybe a 1-to-2 ratio, omega-6s being the 2 side of that. So that was like what it was back then, and that is what's ideal. We want to have more omega-3s than omega-6s, but roughly in a balanced ratio. Today's society, the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is more like a 20-to-1 ratio, which is absolutely wild. It's crazy. So we are obviously eating a lot more of those inflammatory foods. So anyway, back to fish oil. A lot of us are deficient in that, or just like low end of that. We would need to eat a lot of omega-3s in our diet. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, chia seeds, flax seeds. We would need to eat a ton of these to get our necessary omega-3s, and we just don't usually. And like, I love salmon. I have chia seeds and flax seeds all the time, but it's still not enough for me. I eat salmon like, honestly, I should probably eat it more, but I probably have it like 3 times a month and you're supposed to have it like 2 times a week minimum. So yeah, again, crazy. So anyway, I am taking a fish oil. I always have taken a fish oil. I've taken it for a long time, like even before we wanted to start trying. But that's it. That's all of the vitamins that I am taking. I'm just taking the prenatal, vitamin D, and fish oil. But again, this is dependent on the person. So again, supplements, you have to go talk to your doctor. One of the pregnancy prepping things that I have in the episode is telling you to go get lab work done. You should have labs done, updated labs before trying to conceive. Absolutely. So once you do that, then you can kind of figure out if there's any other supplements or other things that you need to be doing. So that is, in terms of supplements, what I would say. Again, it's not going to take over the fact that you have a shitty diet and stuff. Like, that has to be first and foremost, and supplements come last. So again, highlighting that. But moving on to, again, second part of that was like lifestyle and just things to do to have a healthy pregnancy. Again, I'm just going to kind of touch on the basics of this because I have an in-depth podcast episode on this. But again, going back to one, healthy diet. This is the bare minimum. Like, this is the absolute base of your health. Nutrition. Having really good, adequate nutrition, protein intake, fruits, vegetable intake, variety in your diet. Nutrition is probably one of the most, if not the most important part of this. So nutrition, healthy amount of exercise, again, not overtraining, but doing something moderately few times a day each week, or a few times a week. There we go. Not a few times a day. Oof, let's not overtrain. Few times a week. Stress management is really, really, really important as well. Making sure that your adrenal health is stable and you're focusing on your cortisol and making sure that response is good. So stress management, sleep is really important. Blood sugar stability is really important. Again, these are some of the basics that I would say to focus on and make sure that you have proper health as an individual to start with. Again, you can see if anything's going wrong or off in blood work that you should be getting beforehand. And if there is, you have to heal from those root causes before you try. Otherwise, it can lead to more frustrations, more problems, issues. So that's what I'll say on that. But anyway, that was like a long-winded answer to that question. So I am going to kind of cut that there. And yeah, I am going to link the episode of pregnancy priming in the show notes below. So I will do that. Then let's see, what's the next question I want to go over? So another question was morning sickness and stretch marks. Didn't really elaborate on that, but I'm assuming they're asking if I had morning sickness and stretch marks or what you can do for those. So as I've already kind of mentioned, I did have morning sickness from weeks around 6 to 8.5 or 9. And again, if you are pregnant or like are in the realm of this, you probably know already, but if you have no idea, morning sickness is not morning sickness. Morning sickness is actually all-day sickness for most people. So even though it's termed morning sickness, for me it lasted all day long and was worse in the very beginning of the day. So when I would wake up super nauseous. And then around dinner time, it actually got worse again as well. So I did have morning sickness. Knock on wood again. I don't have any stretch marks yet. I don't have a ton. I'm not super prone to them. I do have some on my legs just like as I've grown. So I'm not super prone to them, but I am using creams right now and serums to help with that. I am somebody who, again, am very conscious of being low tox as much as possible, clean ingredients, all that kind of stuff. So the brands that I use for my stretch marks, serum, and everything, the serum I use is from 8 Sheep Organics. It's called the True Belly Serum. So that's the serum I use. I do that first, and then after I apply that, I put on like a moisturizing moisturizer. That is from Rocasa, and it's called like the Mama Belly Cream or something like that. So So if you just go to Rocasa, it's on their website. You can find that, the belly cream. And that's what I do. I do it usually morning and night. I'm starting to get more involved in that now as an.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. If you love the episode, share the podcast and tag me, and subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. Thanks for being a part of the club. See you next time.